kuna ule mjamaa ametengeneza finance bill GPT. Unaweza iquery, ukienda tu install, it's free. Ukiquery inapea activist knowledge on the life. So I don't need to spend an entire month like I did in the 2010s. I had to spend an entire month doing due diligence to dig into government budgets. And you end up being like the only person and a few others who know the extent of the mess. Right now, tunaweza get the mess with this technology. So one of the key things naweza sema hivi na Gen Z and even millennials wale wako na technical expertise. Let's feed data into these systems wale wako na technical expertise, then they share those platforms. Juu hizi vitu vile tunaendelea kuerevushana, ndo wale waerevu walikuwa wanatuona tukiwa wajinga watakuwa mashakani. With the idea of transparency and accountability, Web 3.0 ama kitu tunaita blockchain ina creatingi nodes ambazo hazikontroliwi ni mtu mmoja kama vile server sasa hizi iko. Kama server za IBC zinakontroliwa ni government. So wanaweza enda wafungue na change votes, wako na communication basically channels, so wanaweza wa intercept hizo votes. Kile tuna suggest basically ni blockchain governance. Anyone who is in government, from the smallest employee to the biggest, from the smallest expenditure on contracts ama kufuel magari, wote wapewe kadi iko tied to the blockchain. What the blockchain does ni watu wakisha install the mining software ya hiyo blockchain ama the verifier, watakuwa part of the node. So hiyo part of the node itakuwa ina verify transactions in real time, alafu tunarudi like 100,000 laptops independent. Mi naweza run Kimuzi, anyone else, student yote anaweza kuwa kirani gava on their laptop. Now the thing we are doing is we will reduce these positions of power into basically ceremonial positions. Inakuwa they are answering to us on a real time, combined with this data flow. Tunaweza jua suspicious transactions of that day. Nani anafuel magari 100 kwa ministry yake? Hizo vitu zote tunajua. The money should go into a singular trust account ambayo iko monitored. Ni the entire citizenry of Kenya. The entire collections of taxes in Kenya ziende kwa singular account. From there, ni mwalimu mshahara amelipwa, tunaona ni ngapi, your category. Ikiwa utaki hivyo, go private. If you are to mint money in Kenya, to become a billionaire or a multi-millionaire, you need to be working for the citizens of Kenya, innovating, creating products that the market wants. Si kazi yako kuingia kwa serikali, unaenda kuiba pesa ili ukue tajiri. Na the only way tunaweza fanya hivyo ni to create system. Like now hata nyinyi wenyewe mna transact na pesa kila siku. M-Pesa as a central trust account. The same thing will do for the government, but ikirun through M-Pesa, ina run through the blockchain such that Uhuru ama nani atakuja ama Ruto ama mtu wake kwa cabinet kwa department yake haizi change transaction. It's immutable. Once it's recorded by the 100,000 nodes, haizi change. It's basically an unhackable chain of transactions. Ikiwa ni contracts, ikiwa ni a judicial judgment, yote inarekodiwa hapo. Ikiwa ni mtu ameamua ana sign contract na company fulani, hiyo company kabla wa sign contract, hiyo company na submit bids zake to the blockchain. The entire bidding system of contracts in Kenya mpaka ikuwe public. Si mambo ya tunakuwa na wheelbarrow ya 5,000 ina supply wa 110,000. Kalamu ya shilingi 100 ina supply wa 17,000, zingine 7,000. Njia ya shilingi 250, milioni 250 per kilometer ina supply wa 780 million per kilometer. We gotta have an open bid public system accountability. Juu ile pesa tumepoteza through the clog na we zile iko kwa system is between 6 and 8 trillion over the last 15 years. Na nilikuwa naambia watu, if you knew how much development there would be, tungekuwa na Turkey level infrastructure, equivalent ya Malaysia infrastructure, equivalent ya Indonesia infrastructure. Or to even go further, tungekuwa saa hizi within 50 meters of every person's home in Kenya, there is tarmac. There is tarmac. That's how serious it is. Kila mtu akona maji, kila mtu akona stima. You guys and my generation, kile shida tuko nayo kubwa sana ni an inability to fathom how big some of this money is, especially with the older generation. Unakuta mtu, nikiongea na watu wa nyumbani, na nilikuwa hii ni one of the things I'll repeat. Nauliza watu, what makes up a billion? It was a simple thing I did as I was conducting a parallel survey for market ya watu mama mboga, small shops na nini kila kitu. I was shocked. 7 out of 10 failed. And this was a survey across like 3,000 people. As I was doing my own market service for the product I was trying to launch, I also did that because I was also active in basically economic analysis of Kenya position, na kujua hizi vitu zote za wizi naendelea ngaji, nani anaibanga, strategy ni gani wanatumia, what kind of shell companies are they using. Then I search that against a global database of companies, nione ni companies gani zinalipo ambazo hatujui. I used to do that together with my friends. And one of the key things nikamkurealize ni ati raia wa kawaida Kenya, especially the older generation, si wengi wanaelewa what a billion is, except those who are really learned na wanajua mahesabu. Uliza wengi, what makes up a billion? I swear to God, most don't know, the older generation. Wengi wanafikiria ni 20 million, wengi wanafikiria 50 million, wengi wanafikiria 100 million, wengi wanafikiria 200 million. Out of all those who failed, the 7 kati ya 10, wote, basically out of the 3,000, which was like 2,000 plus, they didn't get it past 200 million. They hata wakuna wale walisema 500 million. No, this is a key problem in getting them to work with us, the younger generation. So mpaka tueleze vizuri sana kwa nini tunahitaji system ambazo hazirely na politician moja, MCA moja, ama MCAs wetu, ama governors wetu, ama president, ama cabinet secretary. It's cause kitu ya kwanza, zile pesa tunaongea zinaibiwa out of the national budget. It's unbelievable. It boggles your mind. Kitu ya pili ni ati kuwa tumekuwa in a culture ambao wako na nguvu na wizi are the leaders, which has then led to this deteriorating situation in terms of honesty. Hata we mwenye ukikaa hivi ukideal na marafiki zako unaona the entire dishonesty culture is across Kenya. Watu wanakuibia, watu wanakudanganya kwa nini unataka uwatumie mpesa. Inaanzia pale chini. And so in such a basically choo ambayo imejaza kila pali, the only way tunaweza hakikisha ule leader tumechagua atuibi ni tusimtrust na MPs kama 400 na tusimtrust na senators. Jua ni equivalent. I'll give you a very simple fact. Ruto akiingia 2013 wakiwa na Uhuru, Ruto was not worth more than, he was worth, estimates were between 5 and 19 billion. Jua alikuwa ameibaiba kidogo across the generation since 1992 na hizo vitu zote. But how come by the time Ruto is vying for presidency 10 years later, and to convince, he's been in opposition, yet he's been in government, steering all the powerful ministry, stealing every goddamn project. We don't have enough electricity because of him. We do not have enough tamaking of roads because of him and Uhuru. Uhuru goes on a borrowing binge, is asleep drunk while the thief steals, and they are both stealing. Then they disagree on the cut, then they fall out. Then he convinces us that he's not in government, he's an opposition. Then anarudi anaingia tena. They borrow trillions and yet we cannot, hata hatuwezi account for 15 to 20% utilization, meaning 80% of all the debt we've taken is as if a drunk or a gambler took a loan of 100 million, gambled all of it, and when the banks come calling, you don't have the business to repay the loan. Hiyo ndo equivalent na za equate national debt yetu. So we have to demand change. But ile change tuta demand, tuache kufikiria hii system ya democracy tunaruliwa ni wase pale juu na wana make decisions behind the curtains, surrounded by another 1,000 people who can approve, the lawyer, the judges, the guys in the military na nini. Mpaka tukuwe na direct democracy implemented such that they are all empowered to steal from us and oppress us. Tunachangeio stuff yote. So, the way we go about this ni kuensure kama saa hii president akona kadi yake ni jet na board, wase wake wote wana board jet na yeye wana swipe hiyo card. We record that transaction. Leo tunajua president amepanda ndege ameenda US. Hii nonsense wanasemanga, kuna nonsense inatumikanga sana in most corrupt country, state security. Think of that word. Security for who? If Biden is having guests at the White House, tunajuanga ni wangapi, chai imekunywa ya how much estimates, all that money. The freedom of information iko available. Watu wakihost parties mbaya London, you know, kama during COVID, ilijulikana walitumia pesa ngapi, walihost ngapi, nani walikuweko, kwa nini walifloat COVID. Hizo vitu zote zinatrakika. But there's a caveat. Those are nations where honest men are found everywhere. So they are able to blow the whistle on those who are corrupt in government. So ukiangalia system yetu juu tuna deal na dishonesty at every level of society. Hatuwezi demand just change in leaders, which is a first. Mpaka tuende further. Such that juu hii kitu itahitaji referendum. In the next leadership that comes in, this must be on the agenda. Where uliataingia mpaka overhaul system na tukue part of the installation of the new system where every citizen can run the node of the blockchain to verify government transactions. Inaitajingione 100 gigabytes of space. Kila mtu akona laptop ya more than 100 gigabytes. Tukirana laptop kama ngiri 50 of which najua ziko Kenya na watu wako willing. Activists are already past 100,000, the activists alone. Tutakuwa tuko na system inatuambia how much money might have been stolen from our total kitty. Ni contracts zinataka kulipwa, unalipwa njia umetengeneza ngapi. Kuna activists wanachapa picha, wanaangalia quality ya kazi, tuko na engineers wamejitolea part of the activist movement. The idea is we take responsibility and accountability of the government into our own hands. Injaro tunangojea sijui the next person comes in, whether it's Matiangi, a rule by oppression or by whatever. In the back end, anaiba yake kidogo anajiekea. Turudi hata tuangalie the better leaders of the opposition. Watu kama akina Rao. Watu wamekuwa na upinzani all through. Hao watu wote, they can be easily co-opted with threats. Mtu anakuja anakuambia, hii pesa ndo nitakupea. Ama either way, you either eat the carrot or I'm coming after you. And then you leave me alone. We are living in a country where the mafia have their own government. And that's the problem. Kila mtu akiingia hata ikiwa kuwa mafia, sasa anataka kuwa the new mafia. Kila mtu anataka ibe enough, so that sasa kuwe na clout. So we end up with an incentive system from the get-go. Wale watu wanataka kusimama MC, kusimama MP, kusimama senator. Kila mtu akona incentive ya iba enough, so that a fight against other people. Na najua kuna watu watamhold responsible. Ana accountability haiko kwa systems. Whether it's the judges, they can be both. Their decisions need to be on the blockchain. We need to read their opinions on the blockchain. Kila kitu, haezi change, unarudi nyuma. Kesi ilikuwa na nini na nini, kila kitu. Ambayo ni public, concerns the public should be public material. Na hiyo kitu mpaka to implement system. Hata vijana the next generation na hata sisi wenyewe tunaelezea mapero wetu, tunawaonyesha, tunawaambia unachekizi zote, hizi zote yellow ishapa hivi na hizi orange. Hizi zinakaa ni pesa zimeibiwa leo. And we have enough activist base. Wanaweza go after mtu yote ana suspect wa jana aliiba pesa. Hiyo gari, kwa nini unatuambia umefuel gari mafuta ngiriso? Hizo vitu kama hizo. Kwa nini unatuambia sijui ulikuwa umeketi kwa meetings 10 jana? You are getting all this remuneration. How comes you have so much time? We kick you out. Hii story ati pesa inaibiwa leo, then audits zinafanywa a decade later, is lost cause. And so I'll bring it to the prosperity of Kenya, why we need these open governance systems. It ties to the fact that if a nation cannot invest in its own, that nation cannot produce growth and it cannot become a developed nation, no matter how long it's given. You just stagnate. In the worst case scenario, you become a failed nation. And so, looking at that, I would like to explain the chain of how nations work. Nations have to take care of hunger. That's the most important. Food security. Tulikuwa na zile project walikuwa wamesema na huku Tana kina, is it the irrigation project for around I think 4 Galana ya Kulalu. Just imagine your project tulipoteza tens of billions of shillings and yet people are going hungry in Kenya. Then Qatar comes in, they lease 40,000 acres, they grow food, they fly it out. Because we had a dishonest leader called Mr. Uhuru. Okay? Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, a dishonest leader. Then a thief turns around and tells us, oh, the guy I'm about to leave to is also a thief. How bad can it get? 2 murderers, they kill witnesses. YCC, they are already listed. So we messed up already in 2013. The question is, as a nation, what can we demand from leadership, and from ourselves that does not rely on any single man's honesty. Juu imeka over and over. We look at over and over. Hakuna watu enough honest people in Kenya to steer Kenya on a smooth plane. It has to be us, raia. Mpaka tukue tunastia hii inchi, tunaipeleka on a smooth plane. So, the change has to be, watu mpaka waende. Easy, you know, is doing what I refer to as plastic surgery. Unatengeneza uso, but chini is just ugly. That's what Ruto is doing right now. And I always say this. Those who underestimate Ruto pay a very high price. And the reason I say this is, I do not declare geniuses easily. If we've seen a genius ambaye anatumia the understanding of global systems against connivingly, he understands the need for Kenyans to feel religious, closer to God. Anatumia hizo vitu zote against you. Wale watu wanajuanga mse alikuwa anaitwa Madoff, US, aliiba $65 billion, which would translate to around 8 trillion kutoka kwa clients wake over a period of 40 years. Ruto is bigger than that. Because this guy, when I declare someone a genius, doesn't matter whether you are doing good or bad. He's an evil genius. He is. He's gonna play Kenyans again and again and again. So we better be very careful that he has to go out. We have to clean up all this mess that was created by him and Uhuru, and even from the past guys from the Moi era. Ikiwa una deal na mtu yote ashaionekana kwa TV during Moi era, I'm sorry to tell you, you are failing Kenya. If you think anyone you've ever seen on TV during Moi era will ever help Kenya. The same with that hizi nini zote za during Uhuru's time. We need to pick people who have had a track record of some honesty and sympathy with Kenyans. And then from that pool, we must force honesty on them. And that's how to implement blockchain. So that equal system ya mwananchi, governance by mwananchi, monitoring by mwananchi, tunawamonitor, hawawezi iba, tunawabreathia hivi on a daily basis. Tunawabreathia. Just like the way the Communications Commission of Kenya was formed, we will have a commission which ensures that no department and no one can float, basically, to great extent, the rules of the blockchain. Kufeed data. Mtu yote ambaye atumii kadi, ukipata utumii kadi yako ambayo iko attached. That's your key to your office. That's your key to the blockchain. That's your key to your expenditure. That's your key to your salary if you're a government employee or officer. Mpaka to implement such a system. That's why we force honest leaders to rise to the top. Juu Kenya imejaa wase smart, wase honest, but they are never given the light of the day because of the incentive system tumeunda. Tumeunda system ambayo has to rely on honest men to run it, few honest men. But Kenya, we don't have an incentive for honest men to emerge in society. So we have to force this, as this generation, to force honesty on the entire system. Kutoka polisi anakuja kukuarrest. Can the people around you verify that he has a warrant that is on the blockchain has been verified by a judge? Which judge, which court, which police station are you going to? That's the kind of governance tutaitisha. Na si kuarrestiwa ni plain clothes. Askari undercover, they can have plain clothes, they don't need to have guns. Kazi yao ni kuinvestigate, kuembed a criminal organization. But once they get the criminal, the arrest must be made by someone in clothes with a warrant. Na hiyo warrant iko already published to the blockchain. We can verify this guy is wanted for this accusation. Let's then go prove that this guy is actually guilty, so that we can track the chain. Si mambo ya abductions, atu watu wana abductiwa, hakuna warrant ilitolewa. When ikarawa ina gani? You are just another thug, another murderer. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is a revolutionary idea ambayo already inaimplementiwa ni watu. Sahi US, hata ukiangalia some of the most opposition figures in US hizi, wanna go along the line of bringing the entire government of US on the blockchain, including the entire, basically, budget. Juu kuna redundancy mingi sana za special interest even place kama hiyo, ambao unakuta, even though they advance and they have a lot of honest men, just the tendency to feel together keeps the government growing and growing and growing to no ends. Na inasado the entire nation with debt. The way we reign it is we do all the things that GenZ wamepropose. Cut the salaries, cut the positions. Let's reduce the amount of travel these guys have to do, the benefits. If you are getting into government, it's because you are chosen. You are the chosen one who feels it's their calling to serve the people. We gotta be so proud of our nation that we are willing to serve our nation like we serve the calling of God. Acha nikwambie, hii story tunashinda tukidanganywa ni watu, alafu wanakuja na pesa. Do we ever stop to ask these people, what value have you provided to the Kenyan society? Okay? What value have you provided? New value have you generated? Do you even hata hii pesa wanaiba hata wa reinvest in the country? Wanapeleka pesa Switzerland, wanapeleka pesa Singapore. Kama Ruto is a very big investor in hotel industry in Singapore. Branches in Australia, real estate in the US, all over the place. Akina Kidero, all these people. Uhuru, the daughter and the son, they own apartments at Hyde Park, London. Apartments ambazo zinauziwa ni masheik. These are things, man, we gotta understand, men and women of Kenya. Mpaka tujue the theft of Kenyan resources is at a humongous scale na equate during the Suharto administration of Indonesia. $60 billion gone from a poor nation that has even had a chance to crawl, leave alone walk. If we fail to demand total accountability, ambayo sasa itabuild the basis of an advanced infrastructure in Kenya, na advanced food security, basis of education, healthcare, then that on top of that tunakuwa tuko na attracted investors, wanakuja hawahitaji kuhongana kuanzisha viwanda zao, wanakuja wanaemploy vijana, wanalipa taxes, they contribute to the growth and the cycle continues of meritocracy, na watu wanafanya kazi honest. If we don't demand such a system of honesty, we failed not only ourselves in this generation, we'll also fail our parents, because remember, we have to take care of our parents when they grow old. That's something most people forget. We have to take care of them. Will there be a healthcare system, an insurance system ya kuwachunga wakizeeka? Hizi vitu zote. So it starts with accountability. Juu hiyo 8 trillion, 6 to 8 trillion, 9 trillion hapo, they estimated different figures in Akujapo, they wasted through theft of infrastructure funds over the last 15 years. Tungetumia hiyo pesa mzuri, tungekuwa na maji kila pali, stima kila pali, you know, things like French energy, nuclear energy companies wanted to set up in Kenya. They come around, they want to set up $1 billion project to feed a gigawatt of electricity to the system. Wanaanza kuharasiwa ni watu wako in government department. These are the people who should be ensuring Kenya advances to manufacturing goods and goods. How can we advance if we don't have the base of infrastructure? It all lays back to dishonesty among the men and women who aspire to be our leaders. Dishonesty tendencies. Hizo vitu mpaka tuzitako. So that on the basis of that, we have students who are going to a free school because the taxes are well enough and utilized enough, they are paying well. The teachers are paid. The doctors and nurses are paid. The houses, the hospitals are stocked. Where are the equipments from the hospital that that $8 billion contract during Uhuru's time? It's nowhere. And then he turns around and tries to buy KQ for 21 billion while we know the assets of KQ are over 200 billion. Even with all the debt issues KQ is dealing with, by the way, which is pushed too intentionally to bankrupt it. There is such colossal theft of Kenyan resources, blood and sweat, intelligence, time, kila kitu. Mwananchi wa kawaida anaibiwa. If you are a honest man in Kenya, you're already dead. Half in the water. We gotta promote a culture of responsibility in the leadership. Na hiyo itarudi change. Ukute mtu yote anataka kuiba, juu anajua ata hold you responsible. Ni the system in real time. Na kuna activists enough. Tutawahold responsible. And especially let's go where they've killed people and abducted people. I have one question. Would they be able to do it if we needed express presentation of a warrant, which was also on the blockchain? Haijafekiwa ni jaji moja ambaye ameenda akaandika then atarudia withdraw. Akishaiandika hivi ameandika tumerecord ni ameauthorize your arrest. Would that be possible? No, it wouldn't. So responsibility ni saizi the government, the revolution should be the government is the people, to reduce presidency to symbolism, to ceremonial role. Si ati anaamka mtu kutuambia, we know Kenya needs roads, we know Kenya needs water, What we need is the plans, and the plans approved by the blockchain. Once to approve hizo plans, budget ikiallocatiwa, if the contracts are to be paid, kuna maactivists wako kwa ground. Si wenyewe tunapiga picha, tunasema hii kitu ni corrupt. Jamaa hajafanya kazi hii wiki. Si mambo na kugoja miaka 2 tunaambiwa 50 billion dam somebody stole money. We have to go past that. To past hatutaki kujua nani atakuwa leader. Ni systems zinafanya kazi. A case in example, Luxembourg just a few years ago went around, was it 18 or 22 months? But it was quite a long period without the government, without ministers, without members of parliament, without the prime minister. Wow, that's how it goes. They went without that. The system just worked because they are honest men. Daktari walienda kazi, askari walifanya kazi yao. They don't need anyone behind them pushing. So the key thing is that the system lacked honesty since independence. And then in turn, we've always used tribalism, especially our leaders have always used tribalism on us. If we are smart enough, tutaunda Kenya. Na ile intelligence yote ina float Kenya, ile masomo yote ina float Kenya, tutai-enhance. Sasa hata ikuwe next generation. Ikuwe watu wanasoma free. Hii mambo sijui ati MP ndio anadetermine whether you get education through CDF or not. It has to end. Hizo vitu tuki-implement na tuki-demand, juu unajua at the end of it, best case scenario naambia watu Ruto ataenda, wote waende. Lakini kuna mtu atakuja ndani, and I hope to God it's the best, most honest character. But then I start asking, who will be working under him? Who will be in the lowest OCS wa kule ndani? Nani atakuwa huko ndani? Atakuwa anajua mambo yote, atakakuwa ni mtu the most honest person in Kenya? No. So we have to force accountability. We have to force honesty on all leaders. And not only leaders, all government employees have to be forced into honesty. Kama saa hizi vitu kama hata vitu kuprocess, vitu kama passport, ama kuprocess saa zingine IDs, ina take days, years on end, and yet unaitishwa pesa. That's corruption at the local level. We have to eliminate it. Ukisha apply document yako, inapaswa kuwa already iko logged by the system. Inaenda utakuwa offered nini yako. Na ukipata hata ikiwa niyo whistleblowing, unapata mtu anachukua hongo pali, una report direct to the blockchain. Record yako inakuwa kama vile criminals wanakuanga in most advanced nations. You are a criminal forever on the blockchain. Tunajua wewe ulichukua hongo. Now then, once we can verify your accounts, once the investigators go after you and it's verified that you are found guilty, the record stays unexpunged on the blockchain. Watu wanakutrack maisha yako yote wewe uliiba na ulikuwa mtu wa serikali, mtumishi wa watu. That's a system that is impersonal. That's a system that is nationwide. That's a system that curates honesty. And that's a system that allows honest men to rise to the top. Once we allow the honest men to rise to the top, the doctors, the nurses who are hardworking, they are remunerated their money. Juu saa hizi najaribingi kuambia watu, put into perspective how much like the Kenyan budget is. At a 3.8 trillion, you are looking at a $30 billion budget. Estimates. $30 billion budget. Hakuna country mingi ziko na $30 billion budget zinasafa mashida Kenya inasafa. We are a rich nation. The citizens are working honestly. What we lack is a honest system of governance. Na ndo maana we must move beyond kusema watu watoke sijui parliament warudi waende wapi. No. The argument should be going forward mpaka to track wajinga wote kile wanafanya. Juu wamekuwa kiona Mkenya yeyote ambaye anataka kulipa taxes akiwa mjinga. Wanaingia wanaiba, then wanakuja kukuambia vile wao ni watu wakubwa. Tunawaita wakubwa, tunawapea heshima ziko, mtu hajai contribute anything useful to society, tunampea heshima hazina mwelekeo. Then that's what the country you end up, extreme wealth inequality. Where at the top, uko na Uhuru na clan yake, na familia yake, estimated to be worth between that and $40 billion and recorded wealth, because they keep hiding it through shell companies, Germany, wherever, name it, holding entire swaths of listed and unlisted companies through private equity na nini na family offices zao. Then you end up with someone with Ruto who is trying to replicate the same. He was a hustler, but what kind of a hustler? The guy has been a billionaire since the late 90s. Just keep rising and rising. So when we entrust our country to people who are willing to murder at every corner, be a thug, lie, on God-fearing people, pretend you fear God, yet you don't. When we allow our nation to fall that low, radical measures are required. Na mimi nasema hivi, angalia kwa maisha yako saa hizi na uangalie vizuri sana. Utanotice watu ambao hawakwambii ukweli, they are around you. Watu wanataka kuibia pesa, wanataka basically you realize it's a society-wide problem, but that ends up being the problem that started a long time ago, and it's been fed and fed and fed to the current generation. Now we have to fight back. So that's why when we go to fight back, don't be the person who hopes, oh, let me stay on the sidelines and I'll be the person in the next government in the benefit. Let's create a system where I know if I go and we've created a fund, because believe me, we will need stimulus for the young people and people to create jobs. If we have decided we are going to have a 300 billion youth fund based on merit and guarantorship that is on the blockchain. You can present a business idea, ifandiwe ni 50, 100k. Uenda ufanye kazi, wirudishe. Ukikataa kulipa, rekodi yako inaenda blockchain. Honesty, honesty, honesty. Every level. Because to restart Kenya's economy, especially with unemployment, thieving of a taxation, and misuse of funds, tutahitaji hapo. The other thing ni kitu ya debt. If the debt was being operated and we were on the blockchain, hizi pesa zinasemekana ziliibiwa after Eurobond, na hazikurudishwa $1 billion Kenya, we would all have been aware in real time. A Eurobond has been issued, whether it's the banks that were issuing it abroad, it's oversubscribed, tumepata pesa $2.5 billion. Inaenda Correspondence Bank New York. Has it been wired to Kenya? Has the central bank received that money? The records of the Central Bank of Kenya should be public knowledge to everyone who is a Kenyan citizen. It should be open knowledge, real time. Tunaona ni pesa ngapi zinaingia. What's the estimate at the end of the day? Is it 120 billion? Is it one, juu hata reserves zilikuwa zimefika karibu a trillion? Is it 1 trillion 100 and how many money? How much money? We need to see that in real time, such that kazi yetu kama wa Kenya ni prevent corruption kabla itoke. Juu mtu akishaiba bilioni 10, kurikavata 2 ni shida. Juu pesa inarudi ina money launderiwa across the planet. By the time hata mtu mwenye ameiba hiyo 10 billion, by the time inamrudia ikiwa clean money, it's only 5 billion. Juu how much money laundering costs, you know? So, we have to demand accountability in the sense that tuna prevent corruption kabla itoke. Juu kama sahi watu wengi wako on the agenda ya, oh, let's go repossess the assets. Guess what? Uhuru is estimated to be worth 42 billion. That's the public money he owns. Do you know about all the shell companies and money they own abroad? No. Ruto the same, utaenda uchukue Weston, uchukue nini, utaachilia ranch zake za Australia, hoteli zake ambazo ziko worth hundreds of millions of dollars, utaziachilia Singapore na US. Watarudi wakuja hata hutaweza kuconfiscate real estate hapa, juu ameregister through multiple shell companies. This is a problem tuna deal nayo. Watu wanaiba trillion. They don't care whether a child in Kenya fee is fed or educated. They don't care. Si mambo ati na mtu anaingia naiba bilioni 10 anatosheka. Mtu anataka kuiba trillion mzima, na ya pili yaongeze, na ya tatu. Akina Moses Kuria, they are now worth 10+ billion. Watu ambao hata akina Murkomen, they are walking around with 4 million shilling watches, akidanganya watu ni ngiri 900 as if people cannot verify information online. So, this is a revolution in progress. We are just getting started. So, as we continue, mimi naweza waji kitu moja. Tuendelee, lakini let's not forget the end goal. Juu tuta end up like a stagnated revolution kama za Sudan, revolution kama za Tunisia, revolution kama za, hizi countries mingi unaona za Arab Spring. And the problem was, they never developed a comprehensive diagnosis of the problem with the system they had. They just thought, oh, we swap Assad for someone else. They just thought, oh, we swap Mubarak. They got another dictator in Egypt. They did not acquire honest systems there. So, bado they are being ruled by iron fists. And if anything good comes out of your way, ni juu ya masi ya huyo leader wenu. Look at Bashir. Bashir anatolewa. The next day, chaos ziko kwa streets. Because they did not have a clear idea of what they wanted. They thought, oh, the next government, guess what? Mimi niko upinzani saizi, ni mimi nasema wasi watolewe. next government itakuwa ndani, so nita benefit. So let me keep quiet instead of proposing ideas that can actually create a long-term, a lasting nation. You know? So as we go through this revolution, we're very careful about forgetting the basic diagnosis ya shida ile ina hail Kenya. The leaders reflect on us, tuliwapigia kura kama wa Kenya. So it's upon us to demand system ambayo ni transparent. So that way hatutakuwa na mashida ambazo zinakuja. Hii generation ikuwe kwa street, tukuwe na leaders wawili down the line, tuweke leaders honest mwingine, then ule atakuja after huyo honest ni leader ambaye ni fake, ambaye ni cheat. So let's be very careful. Tukikuwa tunataka just kuswitch leaders, we must switch the leaders in the meantime. But ule leader anakuja, kitu ya open governance, radical transparency on the blockchain must be right front and center. Tuna hold each and every decision, the law courts, the cops, the government, the police, you know, the military also has to be held accountable. Nani aliapprove? General mgani alikuwa na agree na hizi decisions ati wakuja wa deployiwe? Our MPs, our senators, such that hata tukawaipata mtu ambaye anataka kudestroy Kenya kama vile Ruto wako saizi na vile Uhuru wamekuwa wote, they cannot take us to mess the way they have done. They can't even do 0.1% of the problem ile wameleta. So that's basically my thoughts. I'll give space to other people, but remember, accountability must be forced on the leaders. Honesty must be forced on the leaders. We need a government where we force everyone to be honest. Na going forward, tuweke hiyo moto juu, tuendelee kuwekea pressure na tuendelee kuensure kuwa watasikiza kile tunasema, na tu spread the message na tuelimishe watu wengine pia. Juu hii ni kitu imekuwa na sisi for generation. We are the generation to end this and innovate on our own, on how we are going to be governed, such that mtu yote anakuja after sisi atakuwa anasema wasi waliunda system kwa kweli, mtu mmoja hawezi mess up, watu 10 hawezi mess up, hata watu 1000 hawezi mess up, because the system can morph and take care of those who are dishonest and those who are corrupt, those who are pillaging. And with that, I'll let you guys take over, but we gotta diagnose the problem correctly so that we have the right solution.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
Dr. Mbati, umesikia sasa?
Kimuzi, you know, countries like America, you keep wondering, how comes things remain the same? Things are not changing. It's because of the system. There is a lot of course, we don't say that countries like those don't have dishonest men. They are there. But because of the system that was set, you will struggle to live within that, to live in that society. You go to the banking system, everything is sorted. You go to the road system, askari utampata amesimama vile Kenya askari wanasimama kuinua mikono. Ukienda in the whichever system you want to get into, you will get things running because a system was set years ago by well-minded people who had the country at heart. Thank you so much, Web3. Engineer Nancy Kera, please don't drop the mic, Web3. I know people might want to ask you questions.
Okay.
Engineer, please come on board. Ongeza kile unaweza kuongeza.
Questions are really important right now because we can utilize them.
Yes. Engineer? Then questions, please come on board with questions. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Very loud and clear.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Let me just close. I don't want to take a lot of time. The previous speaker, Web3, has spoken a lot of things that I relate with, and I totally agree with him. I really hope we such a technological revolution, and we don't want to have piecemeal adoption of technology. When you have an ICT CS, whose primary role is launching Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is very, very basic. If you're talking about Web3 and blockchain, you can realize the kind of gap that we have to cover to get to where Web3 wants us to be. When you have a whole government focusing on laying fiber and setting up Wi-Fi, that's a very small milestone. You set the bar so low, then when you achieve it, you go celebrating like you've done so much for the Kenyans. I call that bullshit. We need to do much more than that. PS Ndemo was one of the reasons Kenya is way ahead in ICT, and some subsequent CSS should have built on that progress. Going back to just launching Wi-Fi's is a step backwards. Now, you've noted that only 21 CSS was sent home. Those ministries they were heading are currently being manned by accounting officers who number 51. Now, as the previous speaker just said, this government can run without CSS. It can, because you have technocrats who are responsible for running those organizations on a daily basis. The chief chemist, chief economist, all directors of treasury and all those people exist, and that they are responsible for generating reports, planning, forecasting, and all that. Now, the PSS are the real accounting officers, and that's where the focus should be. 51 of them, are they competent? Are they capable? Are they loyal to the constitution, or are they loyal to their own interest or those of the president? The president may be well-intending, but are those people responding to what Kenyans want, or they are basically responding to what the president instructs them to? Remember, Alice Wahome was the CS for water, and they differed with the PS Coril, Julius Coril, and she was ministries. Now, two, just yesterday or day
Your
before
voice is
yesterday,
breaking.
she made us. How about
You're
now?
breaking up.
Right now, you had Ebu endelea.
Yeah. Now you need to you take note of the matter that the CS lands said that all foreign owners of land leases need to bring back the land title deeds. Now, what is going to happen to those title deeds? That's something that we need to really take into account, because most foreign multinationals in Bomet, Kericho, Nandi own those lands. When they return these leases, those titles to the Ministry of Lands, who is going to be the custodian of those lands? That's food for thought for everybody in this space. Now, the president wants Kenya to be like Singapore. I think as we try to recall all MPs, we need to benchmark with how much MPs in Singapore or representatives of the people or congressmen in Singapore are paid. I don't think they're paid more than 200,000 shillings equivalent. So if the president wants Kenya to be like Singapore, the first start is to cap MP salaries to not more than 200,000. And that is very, very doable. I hope most of you remember a gentleman called Joe Donde. Joe Donde introduced a banking bill called the Joe Donde Bill that forced that brought what we call the, things like Pesalink, and capping the interest rates charged by banks. But systematically, once that law was adopted, systematically the banks and their cronies have worked to reverse the gains of that Joe Donde bill. What does that mean? It means this country has bright minds, has well-meaning individuals who, once they ascend to power, can be allowed to pass very friendly, citizen-friendly bills. But the majority of those MPs and state officers who are at the behest of these banking cartels will degrade the gains that you make every single day. Now, Web3 mentioned about building very solid systems, but as much as those systems are going to be manned and operated by human beings, the element of honesty and well-intended individuals comes into play. So you can build all those nice systems, but individuals will come and defeat the same systems. The first time we had the 2010 constitution, we had clashes in 2007. A very solid IEBC election system was put in place, but just before the election started, one of the ICT officers at IEBC, who was responsible for the security of the system, was abducted and killed. And the ICT system was compromised through his credentials. So I am a cybersecurity practitioner. And I can tell you can build very, very solid systems. And adding to that, you add blockchain into that. But as long as there's a human intervention at any part of that system, that is where we will fail. And the question of honesty, well-meaning individuals still comes back to play. The county started in, I think, 2013 with the enactment of the new constitution. And IFMIS was a system that was in place to manage public resources, manage the revenue and expenditure of public resources. The first 5 years of county government required that all county governments appropriate funds through IFMIS system. And since generally Kenyans and politicians are corrupt, they'll go and bribe IFMIS officials to insert budgets or expenditure that was not approved or that was not done properly. And the ministry lost, and the government lost a lot of money. The counties lost a lot of money. Those ones who know this, I know I'm saying this. I cannot verify this. So this, I'll say these are it allegedly happened, so that I protect myself. But systems are as good as the people who manage them. Even as I say that to protect myself, politicians who are arrested and charged in court.
You are
You can
breaking up,
check
huh?
the web and see. I think I really have bad internet. I hope it's changing. I just moved a bit. Any
That's
better?
right.
Yeah, you're good now. You're good.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me close very quickly. Dr. Mbati asked me now, as a professional, what steps can we take so that we curtail this kind of menace that we have? First of all, the president has to be very honest. He has to appoint competent individuals into relevant dockets. You don't need to have the likes of Kipchumba Murkomen heading a critical docket like infrastructure and roads. Have an engineer there who, if he performs well, reward him. If he doesn't perform, sack him, charge him in a court of law, and bring back another engineer. Remember, the last 20 years, we've had progress in good road construction because we had engineers in charge of those dockets. And even if they misbehaved and they were charged in a court of law, like Engineer Kamau and the rest, we still had good roads. Even if the likes of Itumbi call them biscuit roads, those roads were working. For the last 2 years, those biscuit roads have deteriorated. We have so many bad roads in this country. So the 1,000 kilometers that Murkomen said he constructed, I don't think he did anything. I think he constructed them in his head. The point being, let experts be in charge of those dockets. You cannot have a lawyer as an auditor. You cannot have an engineer as a judge or maybe the registrar of high court. So let relevant individuals run ministries or departments where they are qualified and competent. Let us have someone responsible for the health docket from the health, someone who has training in public health or the medical field. It makes perfect sense. If they fail, go get them out, get another one. Don't replace them with a farmer. That's the whole point. Now, once you appoint competent individuals in those dockets, allow them to work. Most of the parastatal heads, boards of these public agencies are appointed from State House. Names are forwarded for concurrence. If you see most of the directives, the communications from the head of public service, you see that appoint so and forward the names for concurrence. What is concurrence? Concurrence is you finish in like nimekutumia mtu wangu mwekelee mahali fulani. Those are direct instructions. Let the president appoint people who are competent and allow them to work and hold them accountable. That's how we are going to have real progress in this country. Finally, in 2010, for those who were around when the constitution was being campaigned for by the yes and the no team, you know that every side of the campaign made a lot of effort to do civic education. They broke down the constitution into small relevant parts and then they circulated them to various places, churches, farmers, schools. In the same way, to have a competent and accountable government, building on this conversation, this space, and all the revolution that is happening across various platforms, let us have specific professionals in law, in medical, in engineering, in agriculture, pick relevant items that need to be addressed by the government, and then we push that agenda very hard. If it is about the biodiversity or there's an act about these seeds, GMO seeds. Anybody who is an expert in that area, pick key bullet points and then educate the masses on a regular basis. If it's about the ICT bill, we'll have a committee of technical people who will study that bill, the merits and the demerits of that bill, and then we educate the masses so that when we push the MPs, then we have a solid point to put across. Going back home, my parents are not as exposed as I am, and most of your parents aren't either. So when they are told that the space or the Gen Z who are in the streets are gay activists, or they are criminals, or they are funded by foreign governments, or they are funded by Illuminati, those parents will believe. They are very religious. When the moment they hear it is gay or it is Illuminati, they will believe those politicians. I saw Nelson Koech in Belgut telling the parents that the protests were being funded by the opposition. Now the opposition has joined the government. I don't know what he's going to tell those members of Belgut, but those fools were clapping. Unfortunately, those fools are our parents. So we have to take a step to go and educate them and win them over by educating them the benefits of pushing the government and imagining the government as not doing us a favor, but delivering services based on the taxes that we pay on a regular basis. So those are my submissions. Na nasema tuendelee. Let's push this government. Let them know that we are the employers. We are building a future for ourselves as a millennial and for our future, for our children who are Gen Zs and maybe Gen Zs. Thank you very much. I'll keep holding. You
Wow.
can drop me from the speakers panel.
Thank you so much, engineer, web and engineer, because it seems this is the direction we might be taking this morning. I will request that you remain. Others may be dropping because questions might come. I think, Imuzi, that I feel that is what we can do, so that whoever has questions can shoot the questions to them. Let's begin with Boniface. Boniface Gatua. Boniface,
Thank you. Thank you, Daktari. Can you all hear me?
loud and clear.
Thank you, and thank you, Kimuzi, and all the listeners. Perhaps before I pose my question to Web, I'll have this to say. First of all, tuendelee ama tusiendelee? That is not even a question. Because it is either we go forward or we are doomed. Because as far as I know, and for what we've seen in the last, not just 2 years, since 1992 when Ruto came into politics, he will play into your tune, and we know he'll do that. For as long as we let him remain president, he'll apply all the diversionary tactics just to remain in power. And we need to be vigilant more than we've ever been. And secondly, I want to join engineer in saying this. So long as our political seats are loopholes for business and scot-free theft, and we let these guys go away with all manner of bad manners and corruption, we'll remain in the same hole. We'll continue saying all the good ideas we have here. We'll continue bringing all these solutions, but they'll not go anywhere. And the way to make this progress, we need to make these political seats unattractive as possible. The political seats from MCA to president, they must be made unattractive. People must know that when they get to these offices, they're supposed to work for the people. And one way is reducing the salaries and benefits that these people have. There's no way that an MCA should be earning more than a teacher in public schools. So long as these guys go to sittings and they get sitting allowances for doing what we elected them to do, nothing is going to change. And we need to first of all effect that. And how do we effect this? We first of all need to get the right people in these offices. And one thing I even tell most people I talk to is when you give the devil a chance, you're just becoming the serpent. You're becoming the serpent and you're becoming his angel. These guys we are trying to negotiate and try to listen to, these are the same kleptocrats, thieves. The whole cabinet was made up of thieves. These are ICC inductees. The president himself was accused of murder and incitement. These are guys who are willing to kill just to remain in office. They are willing to kill all of us if they can. They are saying they will kill 5,000 people on the streets. These are the people we are saying we want to listen to. That's not possible. And eventually, the problem that we need to solve in this country is the problem of governance. Even in as much as we want to implement the solutions we were saying about blockchain, how sustainable are these solutions? If we don't have the right people in office, they are going to bring sabotage. For example, if you say we want to hold people accountable for the money they spend, how do we hold them accountable? How do we deal with corrupt people? We know China, for example, when you steal in China, you know you public enemy number one. You even face penalties such as death penalty, or you go to jail for the rest of your life. And the president needs to be clear. He has no capacity to tell us that he's a weak president. Why is it that when he wants to pass draconian taxes, such as the housing bill, these affordable housing bill that he passed 2023, how is it that he can pass that, but he cannot pass a bill to fight corruption? He just does not have the goodwill to do what is right. And the drafters of the 2010 constitution, they recommended a parliamentary system where all power will rest in parliament. But now, since some people had individual and selfish interests, they sabotaged the whole process, and that's why we are in this hole. And I dare say this, Dr. Ombati,
You
just
have a
1
minute,
minute as I
brother.
finish. All
You have a
right.
minute, yes.
I dare say, even right now, as many people are suggesting, even if you put Omtata there with such representatives in the office, in the parliament, we are not going anywhere. And again, the problem of neocolonialism started very early in the LegCo with such leaders such as Jomo Kenyatta, who went, we were fighting the same problems he was saying, the health, illiteracy, and poverty. And the president right now is telling us about the AI revolution and digital revolution. We've not even industrialized our country. I'm an engineer myself, unemployed. I've never been employed. Let's settle and know the problem with Kenya is debt. Is not debt. It's not the revenue collection. It's the bad governance that we need to deal with. And the question I wanted to ask Webb and probably engineer was, how sustainable is this system that you are saying we are going to implement if we don't have the right people in leadership? Thank you for the opportunity, and I'll continue to listen.
Thank you. Web and engineer, please hold on
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Don't respond to it. I'm bringing more questions, then you respond at once. Sam
Okay.
Chege, please come on board. Then
Yes.
we'll be followed by Jesse Watanga. All right. That order.
And one more thing, we need ladies. Tell ladies to request the mic. We don't want to be only men.
Yes, yes.
It
I have
looks
seen Meth is
chauvinistic.
here. Wangari is here. We will bring more.
You'll give them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for the mic. I appreciate you. So I love how and the conversation we are talking about this morning, since 3-4 weeks ago, since the Mandamano started. I support that without leaders, our system will fail. Because I mean, computers are not meant to serve us, but we are meant to operate them in a way. So how do we get good leaders? We first look at our legislatures, the MPs, the senators. I've always been asking this question: why should we have an MP paid 800,000 shillings per month? Then he attends sessions in Parliament, and they get sitting allowances. So I've always pondered the question in my head, and I don't get answers. It's like saying you get a CEO of a company or a manager, you pay them quite well for that position. Then whenever they come to work, every time they get the sitting allowances for doing what you employ them to do. So we are the employers. We should seek the right channels to have these people make laws that will favor us. And how do we do that? So when the IBC is reconstituted, we will start by recalling MPs who are not serving our interest. After we recall MPs, we have people in the houses, in both houses, that are partyless. Because I don't see the need of having a president and or a government with majority in parliament. Parliament is supposed to be an independent institution, but having the majority that does the wills of the government is like having an extension of the executive in parliament. So we recall MPs, we have people, independent people in the houses, then ask them, or not ask them, tell them, because we are the bosses, we put them in power, make laws, make amendments to laws that are favoring us. These things to do with acts of parliament. In fact, acts of parliament do was not to finya sana, because you will find positions like the prime CS are not in the law, but it's an act of parliament. Things to do with the housing levy, things to do with the CDF. An MP was elected primarily in the constitution to legislate, to represent, to oversight. Our CDF is not part of their mandate. Hakuna haja akuja aseme that you elect me, I will give you bursary. If you elect me, I will ndatengeneza pale ka drainage kwa hii estate. They should not do that. That money should go to the right people including the MOE, Minister of Education, and all that. Like, we channel money where we are sure that money will be used in the right manner. Senators have been doing without CDF since the 2013, 2012, and they have not, had extreme cases. Now the senators. So, guys, we start with the right people in power. We recall these guys, and we put pressure. History, a conflict of interest bill at the Senate. We put pressure for them to amend the laws that they put ambazo natufinya. So I support a system where we'll be able to see just by a click of a finger the evils of certain people in government, but as well we have the right people in power that are going to put the system at play, because otherwise we might have all the systems that we want to have, but people will come in power na watazifunga those systems. They will then play the systems, watajua tu how to just assume or ignore the systems. So we begin with the right people, then we go down and we see sisi wenye tuko huku chini, we are getting the benefits we deserve as a people of Kenya, as citizens of Kenya. Thank you for time. That is my submission.
Thank you. Kimuzi, allow me clear some air. Legrand has pointed out something about me. That is me, actually. If you allow, I can clear that air.
I was actually coming on your case very hard now.
Very good. Yeah, so I am the Dr. Ombati has mentioned. I was the CEC Health in Nyamira, a position I served from 2022 to 2023 when I was relieved of my duties. And the duties that I was relieved of was because of, I don't know whether it was a miscommunication or whatever that was. But governor akasema kwamba nimeiba madao, and so I was relieved of my duties. So the MCS came to him asking him how kama nimeiba madao as a CEC where I was involved. The organization with whom we order the drugs, that is meds, wrote a letter to the governor informing him of why this happened. So this is what happened. We ordered drugs with the meds company. They were supposed to deliver it within a period of 7 days. The governor requested the drugs to be brought in a single day. This didn't happen. And they wrote a letter citing the uprising that was happening, that period, ile maandamano ilikuwa ya Raila, and it delayed the supply of the drugs. It didn't come within that period, but eventually the drugs were supplied. The governor did audit of the same, and eventually the audit that came out exonerated me, or exonerated the Department of Health, that drugs were lost. Number two, the letter of sacking that the governor wrote to me is not mentioning anything about drugs that were lost. The letter of sacking that was written to me is saying that I lied to him. I lied to him that the drugs were supposed to be supplied within a day, but they eventually went ahead to be supplied in 7 days. So that is where the issue was. But I don't want to discuss so much about it because I had to go to court, and my case is active in court. And he's one guy I've been calling out because I believe whatever that we were doing and whatever that I was doing as the CEC have was putting things, whatever that I'm discussing, whoever who has worked with me will share the same sentiments. I'm one guy who's my life has been very open, and it's a period I served. Now, finally, uh, for the drugs to be lost, there is a chain of command. Those people who have worked in the government know this. Kuna the procurement, who did the same. They procured, I don't pay as the CEC. The accounting officer, who's the chief officer, paid. The chief officer finance approved the money to be paid. So my role as the CEC was to oversee the running of the department. And that is what the MCAs kept asking the governor. Those of you who have been following what has been happening in Kenya, and especially in Nyamira, would bear me witness that there's a point the MCAs almost toppled the governor out of office. This happened because of my case. They were asking him tough questions. Why are you sacking Ombati and you are leaving the procurement officers, you are leaving the chief officers, you are leaving all these other people, the chain that was involved, that is involved in the procurement or in the supply of the drug. So there's hakuna dawa zilipotea, there was a miscommunication, there was a delay in supply, and the letter of sacking, which, of course, it's a personal thing, but it's also something that can be shared. Whoever who might want to know, or if people
Yeah,
may feel that I should
that's where I
share.
wanted you to actually share, because what we know, integrity, what
Yes.
defines a man is actually integrity, respect, honesty, trust, loyalty, and empathy and responsibility. So we, because I just pick to be fair and just, I pick randomly the speakers so that I can give everyone a chance to talk. And I just pick you randomly to co-host and speak, right? I didn't because
You're
I
right.
don't
You're
judge.
right.
Yeah, you remember, I don't judge. And to be fair, I don't want, because like granted DM me, I didn't see it, and he just told me about it. And to be fair, we have 7 speakers, and we don't know about your case. For me, I haven't ever been arrested. I don't have any court case, both home and here. I've never ever, like, I don't have any questionable trait or anything. And these other people, maybe they are like that, or I don't know. So maybe they
Yeah,
can take a
I
vote.
agree with you, Kimuzi. Neither have I been arrested, but I have a case that is ongoing in court because I'm the one who took the governor to court. I'll share the letter here so that people can be aware of what is happening.
Okay, if you share the letter, it will be really okay for
I'm actually
transparency.
sharing it. I don't know how to share it, but I'll share it to you so that you can share it to the rest of the people.
You just click the tweet, then share on the space.
Oh, okay. All
Okay,
right, so we can go ahead.
Mebs or Mebs can talk. Then Jesse has really raised his hand for a very long time.
So it was just then
But let's
Mel
let's wait
Sultan.
give
Okay,
Jesse the space.
Jesse, then Mebs. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Kimuzi, for this opportunity. And my issues are very simple, are concerning the county government. As you might well be aware, um, we had a report that Kimani Wamatangi has denied investors opportunity to invest, and I think this cuts across the whole country, especially in my home county, that is Siaya County. We have to recognize Raila for his role in fighting for this, but they have started what they are doing right now. They want us to get off the streets, but I feel we have a very big problem, especially in Nyanza. So, what I'm doing towards this is I'm trying to mobilize youth led by my president in KSL, that is Joshua Okao, that was abducted. So we want to mobilize youth, and if you are Gen Z and you're in Nairobi, because the cartels that are behind Raila Odinga and they are not working out. I saw Raila Odinga Jr. in the space. So please tell them there are legislators, especially in Nyanza, that have refused to work because they are hiding behind Raila. Although we respect Raila, but we also have to see development in Nyanza. Thank you very much for that opportunity. And thank you, Kimuzi.
Thank you. Mebs.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Kimuzi. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Thank you. Okay. I'll just start by saying that I agree 100% with all the sentiments that have been raised before, with especially with Web 3.0, because I, for sure, I'm a Kenyan in Germany, and I enjoy the fruits of a functioning institution. Yeah. And also, I agree that even when I, as MEBS, works in finance and controlling, there is no way I would even ever dream of applying for a job. Let's even be selected to run anything in the health sector, for instance. So at the end of the day, Ruto should not lie to us. We need that everybody who will be given this CS's position in future, and the next panel that is going to select, should be competence, integrity, and should be the key, yeah, qualifications. Otherwise, they should not take these jobs. And also, we need to kick tribalism out of this country. If those CS positions were, I don't know, 20 something, let them give them to the minority tribes. Let's see for once that somebody from, I don't know, the smallest tribe in Kenya, I don't know, I can't remember the tribes. Yeah, some of them.
El Molo.
Exactly, El Molo people, or I think we have like Suba. I think I can't remember. Yeah, all that. Anyway, and anyone who is newly appointed should first ask for a public audit. Yeah, before they take the position. Otherwise, they should reject the position. If there's no audit, we don't know what they are going into. Yeah, and we don't know what rot they are going to be dealing with. So they should not even take that. Kimuzi, back to your question here. Tuendelee ama tusiendelee? Of course we're endeleaing. Tunaendelea until we want to make Ruto serve as an example to every other person who will ask for a presidential bid in Kenya, to know that this position, si ya kujoke tunayo. Watu wa Kenya, my leaders are not people who you just stand up one day in a podium, say, I will do this, and then the next day say, I'll do something. You don't do it. You don't fulfill what your promises. No, this is what we don't want. Yeah, we don't want bandages on top of wounds. If something needs a surgery, we need to go and dissect it and look at the problem. Same way, I won't waste much time because Web 3.0 really stated every point that I wanted to talk about. This is where we want Kimuzi, we endelea kufinya kabisa. And I understand the speaker before me talk about the county. Once we clean on top, we are draining everything. So all these institutions will be working, and then everything will be on line, straight lines. Yeah, that if tomorrow somebody else is appointed to any other position, they just come and continue the job. And then everything else will fall into place. Kimuzi, first of all, take your flowers, bro. You really make these spaces. I don't know what time you sleep, by the way, and I start to question if you're a real person, because I left you here last night and I found you here this morning. So take your flowers, and thank you very much for everybody who always makes their time to listen and contribute to this platform. Thank you.
I left a coast, so that's why I just woke up too.
All right, Kimuzi, I've already posted the letter. People can read it. And any other question, it can be raised. The next was there's a lady I had said will speak. Maybe she had dropped. Kenyan lady.
There is Kate. Okay. Kate hasn't spoken since he took the mic.
Kate, okay. So fine, Kenyan lady, once you finish, okay. Kate start, then Kenyan lady will, okay, then Kenyan lady will come in.
I had spoken earlier. I was talking about the tribal thing, and talking about the privatization of the companies that the senators were trying to pass in the previous sittings. So I had spoken earlier. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenyan lady. Caleb, please go on. Kialo.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Wow. I started requesting for the mic yesterday at 6 jioni. At least nimeipata. So for me, I don't have much to say. A lot of things have been said, and a lot of things have been said. So personally, mi ni mtu nimegrow Kayole, place inaitwa Soweto, and I can relate to a lot of things this government has done for me. Mazee, I've suffered in this Kenya. Hii Kenya, mazee nimeteseka hii Kenya. Okay, time tulikuwa tunaishi Soweto, I can remember as a kid, nikiwa bado mtoi mdogo, hapo class 1, class 2, and you all know how Kayole is. And Kayole imewekwa in an image that msee akisikia unatoka Kayole, they perceive Kayole as some place that imebeba tu wezi, imebeba tu watu wabaya. But trust me, Kayole haina watu wabaya. Growing as a kid, I had some very traumatizing moments that unaamka asubuhi, unaenda shule, and unapata msee aliuawa jana jioni. As a kid, unavuka mwili ya msee. Na si ati aliuawa na wezi, ni polisi. Kayole was a place whereby, as a kid, alarm ya kwenda kulala ilikuwa bunduki. Nasikia tu risasi, pa! Unajua tu it's time to sleep. Nakumbuka saa hizo uko kwa nyumba ya mabati, the so-called silver apartments. So, as a kid, you know that you are not safe. Hizo bullets, unaweza catch stray bullet anytime. And also, these cops have been my enemies ever since I was a kid, man. Wamekuwa adui wetu. Maze tumeshikwa huku. Hujafanya kitu. Bro, you're being arrested because you are poor. Tulianza kunyimwa the rights of being citizens in Kenya ever since you were kids, man. Polisi wametutesa hii Kenya. Wametutesa. And me, my greatest problem is polisi, bada. Hatu nikionanga wakichukua hongo hapa kwa barabara. Mazi, I hate those guys. I hate them with every ounce of energy that I have. I hate those people. I hate those people. They destroyed our childhood. Unapata hata ukigrow unakuwa mkubwa, you just
Perhaps what is the way forward that you want to take out of this assembly today here? One, it's to get the information that has been there. To also, it will help us work on the reports and what has been happening, for us to give recommendations and the way forward from what has been happening, especially from the victims, their perspectives and their testimonials, what has been happening to them. So we'll be taking like records of what has been happening to each and everyone in this place. Yes. Thank you so much, Gloria. Let's cut into Stephen. Stephen, what is your expectation of this assembly here today as well?
Thank you very much. For record, my name is Stephen Bungo Wanjiru. I'm a council member with the Law Society of Kenya, and I'm also one of the co-conveners of the Public Interest and Human Rights Committee. And other than being a victim of this particular protest as an advocate, because we faced a lot of brutality, we also here as LSK to call upon the citizens to turn up and share their experiences. We have tried to partner with various institutions which have offered support, especially socio-psycho support. They have also offered, we want to offer legal support, because our intention as the Law Society of Kenya is to take legal action for the violations of human rights that we witnessed across the country during the weeks of protest. Kenyans have not had a chance to have a conversation of what really happened. Mainly they have been sit and watch and see. So this time around we want to have this deep conversation to hear the experiences from those who are a bit more bolder to talk, but those who are not able to talk, we have also encouraged them to come register with us, reach out to the LSK, reach out to various human rights communities, because these are initiatives that of driving Kenya towards a better place and a better space of people being taken care of and rule of law being respected.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Stephen. We have Rajab with us. Just Rajab, take us through your comments in terms of this particular assembly today, and for those that have experienced police brutality, how can they join in the conversation and possibly get help?
We're here as Amnesty and the rest of our colleagues here to humanize victims of violent policing of protests. A protest should not be seen as a criminal act, but a patriotic act where citizens come to engage with their governments. So we're here, first of all, to just listen from those who got injured, those who are hurt, those who are abducted, those who are killed by security agencies. Ideally, we expect government to really safeguard the right to protest. Right to protest should not be criminalized. A person supporting a protest should be celebrated, not dehumanized the way we've been seeing. That's why we're here, at least to just also stand in solidarity with all those who are injured and tell them that they did a patriotic act.
Thank you, Sana Rajab, for that. Of course, now we cut into the auditorium to begin the session.
And resilience as we seek that which is just. Hold us as we pursue accountability and transparency. May those who lost their lives get justice. Amen.
So we'll have our opening remarks. Do we have Chief Rat? Yeah. He will open the.
Okay, so who is giving the opening? Are you not the one who's doing opening? No, you're not the one. But welcome, just welcome. Just welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, comrades. Yes, that's a better one. My name is Stephen Mbugua-Wanjiru. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and a council member with the Law Society of Kenya, co-convening the Public Interest and Human Rights Committee. And today, on behalf of the human rights community and on behalf of the Law Society of Kenya, we want to welcome each and every one of you to this particular event. We are looking forward to a space where we are going to have interactions on what happened during the protests. The people who faced serious political brutality, we have a few who have volunteered to share with us, and we have also called upon all the members of the public who suffered the same fate to share the information with us. We want to discuss, have a space of discussion on what next. What next when it comes to justice? What next when it comes to the people we lost during the protests as they struggled for this liberation? What next when it comes to the issues of governance? What next when it comes to adherence to the Constitution and the rule of law in this country? And it is my sincere hope and trust that this conversation will be a candid one and an honest one, because there is no other better time to have this kind of conversation than this one we do have right now. This is the season, and God blessed us to be in this particular space of this country at this time so that we can forge and provide a forward, not just for ourselves, but even for the future generation. So thank you very much. Feel at ease and encourage your friends and colleagues, wherever they are, to find their way here. And especially those who have evidently suffered through this protest and are victims of police brutality and abuse of human rights. God bless you, and we look forward to a great interaction as we move forward. Viva! Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief Rat Steve Wanjiru. So the next segment is introductory remarks and objective setting. And we will welcome Happy Olal to the stage for this.
Viva, comrades, viva. More power to the people, more power. Down with police brutality, down. Down with corruption, down. My name is Happy Olal, convener Social Justice Centers Working Group. Before we start, I will request for a minute of silence to all comrades whom we lost during this struggle. Nitaomba tusimame. Long live the undying spirit of our comrades, long live. Long live. You may take your seats. 2 days ago, we were at the Kenyatta National Hospital. We went to visit our comrades who have been admitted there because of police brutality. Up to now, there are around 25 comrades, between 25 and 30, who still have gunshots in their bodies. They are yet to be removed. But the country seems to be moving on very fast. We seem to be fast forgetting. There are comrades who are still being found in rivers and forests. The president is focusing on saving his job, his career, his presidency. I appreciate what we've done so far. If only 3 weeks has sent finance bill home, cabinet home, what if another 3 weeks could do? Today we are meeting here, one, to reflect on what we've achieved so far and to learn our lessons, what the challenges, the successes. Today we are meeting here to remember all the comrades who've injured, lost limbs, who've lost lives. Asking ourselves, did they have to go through what they went through? Today, we are also meeting here to remind the government of accountability. We saw the cabinet going home, but the Inspector General is still in office. We must continue injecting. The Inspector General must take responsibility. Today we are meeting here to remind IPOA that they have a constitutional mandate to make sure that we don't have police brutality. Yet, in a document that someone saw at the Kenyatta National Hospital, they had admitted around 288 people with gunshot wounds. In 3 weeks, if the police can shoot more than 288, it shows that either they don't fear, they know nothing will happen to them. There's a police officer who shot at journalists. Kila mtu akiona, see all of you saw. Why is he not in jail? So for those people who think that we've won the battle, we are just starting. For all the resources, the cabinet that has been walifutwa kazi, those people must go to jail and tell for all the money that they stole, for the millions that they used to flaunt around with, giving people in sports and all that. So comrades, today we are meeting here to give ourselves hope that we might see some successes, but we've not won the battle yet. The battle and the mantra remains, Ruto, 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 niko njaa hata siwezi karanga, oe hahe shagala bagala, niko tayari kulipa gharama, sitasimama maovu yakitawala, sitasimama maovu yakitawala. Ufisadi, ubinafsi, ukabila, kuuza sura, wataki kuuza sera. Undugu ni kufana, sitasimama maovu yakitawala, sitasimama maovu yakitawala. Viva comrades, viva! More power to the people, more power! More power to the revolution, more power! Thank you very much.
A round of applause. So the very immediate next segment is first-hand account, narratives and testimonials of various victims. We are going to start with the victims of police brutality, and this segment is going to be led by Linus Mwashigadi. Over to you.
A very good morning to all of you. We welcome you to the Citizens Assembly here today. In this session, we will get to hear from the victims themselves what they faced, their first-hand accounts. For those that are joining us virtually, we welcome you, and you can join in the conversation. For the first speaker, I'd like to call Nadia Nthia to come up and to take us through her experience and the police brutality she met during her protest. You can begin with explaining who you are, and perhaps there or here. Okay, you can just have a seat here. And then we can have a series of questions. And then we'll open the floor for Q&A. For those that are here, you can join by reserving your questions. And those that are live, you can also post your questions online. Is it on? It's on. Thank you so much, Nadia, for being brave and coming forward to share some of your experiences and the police brutality that you met while you were protesting. Let's begin by you introducing yourself. Who is Nadia and why did you protest? Let's begin from there.
Good morning. My name is Nadia Nthia. I am a lawyer. I am an advocate trainee at the Kenya School of Law, admitted to the Advocates Training Program 2024-2025. And I joined the movement majorly because I believed in the cause. We were fighting the system over economic policies that were set to disproportionate the common mwananchi. So that was my motivation. We need a society that works for all of us. We need systems that work. So, yeah.
What are some of your experience, if you can recount and tell us? What did you experience?
Wow, I experienced quite a lot. I was abducted. About 2 or so weeks ago with my partner. And according to our captors, they had been trailing me for about a week before they took me, just waiting for the order to say, okay, now you can take her. And the day before they took me, I moved out of my house temporarily. I went to stay with my partner because I believed I was going to be safe there. But they found me even there. My phone had been off for like 2 days. I was communicating majorly with my laptop. I had my apps on my laptop. My phone was off because I had been told they were tracking me using my number. So, I was saying, sorry, ADHD. The day before they took me, I had come from school, from the Kenya School of Law. I wasn't using my phone entirely. Even the trip that I took from the Kenya School of Law to the house, my partner had to request from his phone, and I was paying for things in cash. It was crazy. I was living in fear for about a week before they took me. I was purely, entirely in hiding, but they still found me. So anyway, so at around 6 p.m. the day before, I got to the house and something just told me, you know what, check the window, like look outside. And I checked and I saw a silver SUV parked outside and 3 men got out of it. So I called my partner at that time using my laptop on WhatsApp. And I told him, okay, you know what? There is a silver SUV parked outside. There are 3 guys moving around. I'm scared that they're going to take me right now. I don't know what to do. So he tells me, no, just calm down, breathe, observe, text me everything, like tell me everything that's going on, I'm on my way. So I observed them for about half an hour. They were just moving around. It was like surveillance of some sort. So they were moving around, observing the area. I don't know what they were trying to find really, but that went on for like half an hour. Then they left. And around the same time they were leaving, he arrived. I was so scared. I was rooted to one spot of the living room the entire time until he got there. Then I was like, oh, phew, now I can breathe. So that evening went by. It was very calm. It was peaceful. We slept.
What was your emotional state at that point?
My anxiety was so bad. I was having panic attacks after every couple of hours. It was insane because the day before they had taken my friend Shadrach, so I had a feeling that they were going to come for me next, especially if they went through his phone. Yeah, so that evening went by it was calm, it was quiet, we slept. I wasn't able to sleep much during that period because, of course, nerves, anxiety. So at around 4 a.m., I hear movements outside. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's the neighbors getting home from somewhere. And I brushed it off as nothing. And then they knocked. They knocked at our door. And I brushed that off as well. The knocking got louder and louder. And at that point, I woke him up. I was like, they're here. They've come for me. And before that, I had typed out a tweet on my laptop that I was going to send out when they came, like, wamenichukua. But I didn't even have time to send that out. Yeah, so I woke him up. I told him, there's someone at the door. So he got up. I'm scared. I'm shaken. It is so loud. They wanted to break down the door at that point. They shouted something at him in Luo, nyerere something. He later told me it meant, open this door or we're going to break it down. Mm-hmm. So he went to the door. I stayed in the bedroom, scared as hell. I'm still in my nightwear. I was fixed to that spot. I didn't know what to do. He went to the door, he opened it. As soon as he opened it, they put him down. Blindfolded him, tied him up, came in to look for me. They were 7 with guns as big as me.
Could you tell their faces?
No, I could not. They were wearing baklavas, they were masked up, so I could not see their faces at all. I could just hear voices. It was just voices. So they put him down, came into the bedroom looking for me. Mm-hmm. I saw their guns and, dude, I'm very short. So when I tell you their guns are as big as me, I saw them and the first thing that came to my mind was, why are they coming to get us a little girl with military-grade weapons? I'm not a terrorist. The only thing I did wrong was use my social media and my voice for a cause that I believed in, for a cause that millions of Kenyans believe in. So at that, I told you I was sitting in my nightwear, so they wanted to take me like that, but one of them had sense and said, no, let her get into something that's a bit warmer, more appropriate. Yeah, they didn't even want to let me dress up. They were just standing there, watching me, waiting for me to undress and give them some kind of show. They're sick people. No, but one of them, the one who had sense, mm-hmm. Yeah, the sense was constant. He told them, okay, maybe we can give her a minute to get changed. And then, yeah. So I dressed up. I just put a t-shirt and one of my official pants on and this exact jacket and a sweater, and I took one for him as well. I didn't know they were going to take him. Initially, I thought, okay, they're just going to come for me and he's going to get me out. But they took him too. So I took a jacket for him and they tied us up, they blindfolded us, and we left. So it took us down the stairs.
Blindfolded from the house? From the house.
There were instances where they used to take off the blindfold, like if we went to the washroom, which meant a lot. So they took us into the car. I don't even know if we locked the house. I have no idea what happened after that. At that point in my head, I was just like, oh God, shit. Sorry for the colorful language, but that's what was going on in my head. So they put us in a car. I didn't know we were in the same car because later on I was told there were 3. So in my head, I was also thinking, okay, where did they take him? What are they going to do to him? Not my partner. Where did they take him? And then later on I came to realize, oh, he's right here. So calm down a bit. So they put us in the cars and we drove for nearly 20 minutes, got to our destination. The entire time, these guys are hitting my head, like, usijaribu kutoa your blindfolds, ukitoa utanikasirisha and you don't want to make me mad. So they're hitting my head and confirming, is this thing on? It was so tight, my head hurt so bad, my ears. It was crazy. So we got there, we sat in the car for about 10 minutes, and the entire time they're like, other guys came and they were like, oh, unda Nadia, oh, unda ring leader, nkasichana kadogo, unda kana ring leader, tukana wanawano. So I'm like, every time I'm scared, I'm like, me sija ring leader too. That's all I kept saying. And they took us inside. It felt like a house. So they took us inside the house and put us in a room. Later I realized there were 2 beds. So my partner was in the other one and I was on the one on the right. Still blindfolded this entire time and tied up. So they left us there for a few minutes. And then I think we were handed over. The people who took us are not the same people who were interrogating us. So we were handed over from one team to another.
I'd like to call other guys who are also in the room, Honesty Nyerere and Bill Simani, to also recount on their experience as well so that we can get the conversation going and it becomes more an engagement. Thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause, please. Thank you so much. It's Billy, correct?
Yeah.
For coming on stage. Ernest will be joining us shortly. Just briefly recount for us how the experience was for you.
Hi, my name is Billy Simani, otherwise known as Crazy Nairobian. Okay, for me, I think, the first guy to be abducted. So for me, it was more of a surprise. We had just come from a successful Thursday maandamano. So on Friday, I was still asleep throughout the day. I just woke up constantly to tweet and go back to sleep. So at 3 p.m., I think it was on 21st June, I had a knock on the door. At first, I thought it was the caretaker because that's the only person that can knock at my door. So I went to open the door. So I was still in my t-shirt and my short. I went to the door, opened it, and I saw it was 4 guys in balaclava. The 5th one was a lady because she had on a face mask. And the first question they asked me was, Billy? And out of shock, I answered, yes. Na hiyo time yote wameshikilia mlango. So they all rushed in. The first guy ran to the balcony. I think they thought that maybe I would escape. Then the second one went to the bedroom. And then the third one, it was this huge guy. He told me to face the wall. Alafu, they told me to sit down. And the next thing I know, I was being slapped with brand new wrist bracelets, yani pingu nyuma. Alafu, the other guy went for my laptop and my phone. And then they started interrogating me. First, they asked me to open my phone. They wanted me to unlock my phone, but I refused. And then the whole time I was asking, nimefanya nini? Nataka nijue nimefanya nini? And they silenced me with a few rounds of claps, all of them.
Wow.
And so I realized this is not usual, because first of all, I was just tweeting normally. hadn't done anything wrong. And the other guy went for my t-shirt, the maandamano t-shirt, it was on my chair. I thought maybe they were taking evidence, but they wanted to use the t-shirt to cover me up. So the whole time I was pleading with them to at least let me put on some pair of trousers, but they refused. And then they asked me the last time, tufungulie simu tafadhali. And I told them, mimi niambie kwanza mnanishikia nini ndio nijue. They silenced me once again with a few rounds of clap, all of them. And you know I live on the 7th floor. And that's the first time ever since I moved into that building that night I stairs na I think it was a few seconds because they were too quick. I couldn't see because walikuwa wameni cover up. The next thing I know, I'm being sandwiched in the back of a car. I think there was one guy on my right, the other one on my left. And then we drove around for like 2 hours. So me, in my mind, I knew that I'm being taken out of Nairobi somewhere. And I knew this was it because first of all, they didn't introduce themselves. Second of all, I've been blindfolded. So the next thing I knew, story yangu imeisha hivyo. So we drove around for like 2 hours, then they started whispering. And then one of them was asking for directions from someone on the phone. And then they sent him the pin. And then the next thing I know, I'm pulling up to, I don't know, one of them, they stopped the car, they came out. And then one of them was like, ni hapa? Then the others were like, yeah, ni hapa. Wakasema, sawa, toa hiyo jamaa tumalizane na hapa kwa kahawa tuende kufanya kazi ingine. And I knew that was it. And then the next thing I know, I'm being taken out of the car. I was still in my t-shirt, my short, barefoot, hands tied behind my back. I've been blindfolded. The next thing I know, I'm being taken down the stairs into a room. It was a very cold room. Then they told me to lie on my stomach. They asked me they asked my name. I told them Bilisimani. The next thing they wanted my ID number. The next thing they asked me where I come from. I think walikuwa nataka kujua ushago ni wapi. I told them. Then they asked me nimeshikiwa wapi. So I was like, I thought these were the guys that brought me here. So I think those were the other guys that I was handed to who were asking questions. They let me lie on that floor for like an hour. Then after an hour, somebody came. They took me upstairs into, I think it was an interrogation room. Those guys at the interrogation room were a bit friendly. The guys at where I was being held up were a bit rough. So the next thing I know, I'm being sat on a chair. And then one of the guys started asking me questions. They asked me the usual question, what is your name, your ID number, where do you live, your social media handles. They wanted Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And then the next thing they told me was, we're going to ask you questions and you're going to answer us. If you don't, first of all, this is not a police station, so they might not find you, so you have to cooperate. And I was like, this was it. So they wanted to know who was funding these protests. And I told them, no one, it's just the youth. There are people who are coming up and buying water. Some people are coming up and buying t-shirts. Watu wanajitolea tu. Then they told me, the reason why we have brought you here is because tungeongea nawe kwako, ulikuwa kichwa ngumu. First of all, we need you to unlock that phone. And I was like, mimi nataka nijue nimeshikiwa nini. And they told me once more, I'm the one asking the questions. You're going to open this phone because we want to see something. And then I just decided to open the phone for them. I told them the code. They checked. I think they were looking to see if somebody was funding us, and they didn't find anything. So they took me down to where I was being held. I think it was a downstairs. It was a very cold room. I slept there the whole night. My hands on my back,
still in my short and t-shirt the whole night. So they came for me the next day. That's when they brought in tea, and then they transferred my hands to the front. And then after tea, I was taken back to the interrogation room, and then the guy was friendly enough to ask for a blanket. And then they told me, we wanted you to first to meditate and think about your questions first. So I think now you're ready to cooperate with us and tell us what you want to know.
Perhaps, so, Billy, during the entire time, paint us that experience that you had that entire time, because you're talking of you being slapped at the back, you being tied up, your hands, having to sleep in a cold room the entire night. Just paint us in a minute how that experience was for you.
The whole time I was trying to think, what tweet gave me out? Like, what did I say? Because the only thing I know, I was protesting like the rest of my colleagues. So I was wondering why I was brought here. And the whole entire time I didn't know why I was brought there. Like, I knew this was the end for me. So it was like a psychological warfare, because first of all, they removed the cuffs, the handcuffs, and then they replaced them with, they are called zip lock. Zip ties. And the more I was struggling, the more they were tightening. So my hands were numb. I couldn't sleep the entire time. I was trying to like listen and know where I was, but there was no sound, no nothing. I didn't know if there was anybody in the room. So I wasn't even sure if I was in a police station or what. But I later realized the following day when they transferred the hands to the front, when I had the chance and lifted my blinds, I was in a toilet. I was actually in a toilet. It's a very small toilet. And that's where I was held the whole night. And then they would occasionally come. And when they came, they announced that they are coming, so I had to face the wall. Then they tightened the blindfolds again. They take me to the interrogation room. I think by that time, people had made enough noise on social media. I was all over, I was in the news, and they were tense at that fast, and they were telling me, your friends think that we have killed you. They're making noise all over. So we're not here to kill you. We are just trying to keep the country at peace. And they told me on Thursday, the day before they arrested me, the protest was so huge, and then goons came in at around, I think 6, 7, and they started burning a few matatus. They started destroying properties. So in their mind, they thought that maybe we were sponsored by either a politician or someone. So they wanted to know who was this that was sponsoring the protests. And that's when I explained to them that ours is a peaceful protest. That's why we have even printed t-shirts, and we have given out a memo that anybody who is going to appear in the protests, wakuje kama wamevaa black, so that we identify each other. And then they wanted to know how we were going to ensure that the protest was peaceful. And that's why I told them to go and look at my tweets. We had previously said that everybody should use their smartphone. If you see anybody vandalizing anything, take a picture, post it, so that when they try to pin the distraction on us, we at least have evidence. So they went through my tweets and they saw everything that we are telling people. We had even posted how people are supposed to conduct themselves during the peaceful protest. And I think that was what helped me to be alive right now.
Thank you so much, Billy. Ernest, karibu sana to the podium. Just give us a brief introduction of who you are and your participation in the protest and how it impacted you.
All right. I'm Ernest Nyerere. I'm a patriot. A lover of our country. and I work with the president of the Law Society of Kenya. My involvement in the protest was largely piecemeal because I take the work that we do with the president very seriously, and it means that you have to understand the delicate balance of sharing your views and how it can affect the responsibility, the greater responsibility that lays on the shoulder of the person that you work with. So as a principal, I try to manage how vocally I share my views. Of course, I have very strong views, and I have my own opinions of how things should work, but I understand that extrapolations are a norm in our society. So to avoid such extrapolations, I keep my role as professional as possible, and my involvement in the protest was in supporting the work that the Council of the Law Society of Kenya was doing, and of course, under the leadership of the president. So I would say I was the number one agitator, but I supported it in a more strategic capacity in the role that I hold.
Thank you so much, Ernest. I'd like to come back to Nadia. What is your perception about civic engagement now that you have experienced police brutality, and according to you, you're protesting, it's your right. What is your perception about civic engagement after the entire police brutality?
Thank you. I believe so far we're doing well with regards educating ourselves and educating members of the society on how we can keep the people who are in these positions of power accountable and keeping the systems in check and whatnot. So civic education right now, I think, is moving in the direction that it was supposed to be moving in previously. It's better than it was before. I think also because of the incidents that we have had of people getting murdered, people getting maimed, injured, abducted like ourselves. So our society is moving in the right direction, I believe. We are moving in the right direction.
Thank you so much, Nadia. At this point, I'd like to take a comment, not really a comment, but welcome at _Oduk, who's joining the conversation from X. If we could have him, please. Okay, so we're getting him through. So at this point in time, we're just opening the floor for Q&A. So if you have any questions, kindly jot it down and the person to whom we want the question directed to. So I'd like to ask Bill, perhaps, how do you think the victims of police brutality can get support, having gone through yourself police brutality?
I think most of us need like a psychological evaluation, because the moment I was released, the first thing was to switch off my phone, because I'm still paranoid at how they located me, how they even knew my house, my door. Like up to now, my phone is still off. I'm using a different line. And I haven't been staying at one place. I've been staying at different people's places because I'm still afraid, because I think that they might come back for me. So if you know anybody that has been through what you have been through, the best you can do is be there for them, support them, talk to them, because I don't think any of them want to be alone at this time.
To you, Ernest, whipping you back to the conversation from a law perspective, how do you think the demonstrations should be handled from the law perspective with those that are enforcing the law, that is the police, of course?
Well, of course, we have to understand that a democratic society is the number one is the number one, sort of dream that our constitution envisions. And that is why we have very elaborate structures, institutions, and provisions on ensuring that the people can engage in a democratic manner and ascertain a democratic and fair and equal society. Now, we've all had the conversations that have been there about Article 37 and all the relevant constitutional provisions under the Bill of Rights with respect to participation of the people, how the people are supposed to engage. And the reality is the people of Kenya have come to an awakening that, hey, these are our rights. We gave them to ourselves, and it is upon ourselves to enjoy them. And this realization is simply because the people that have been entrusted with ascertaining the protections of these rights have failed. You look at the duty of the police under Article 244, they have to uphold constitutional standards of human rights. But is that what they do? When baddies are walking with water bottles and their iPhones and simply trying to talk about what their rights are, and you tear gas them. It's very unfortunate, Advocates trying to uphold the right to fair trial, going to police stations to represent people who, mind you, have been unlawfully arrested. Then you tear gas these lawyers, not caring for their health, not caring for their duty to the people. Then what kind of setup are you trying to put in place? We find ourselves in a situation where we stand at the risk of those in positions of power choosing when to suspend the Constitution and choosing when to adhere to it when it suits them. And therefore, it is a moment of awakening where we as the people of Kenya need to come together. We need to stand up to all the ills that have characterized our country historically and since the promulgation of the new constitution, and we need to appreciate that we have a wonderful constitution and it is upon us to make it work for ourselves, because our political leaders have not just failed, they have refused to implement it.
Thank you so much, Honest. Nadia, just walk us through how this entire experience has really changed in terms of how now you view life and everything else.
My life has changed so drastically in the span of 1 month. I cannot even tell you. As Billy said, we need a lot of psychosocial support. The anxiety, constantly having to look over your shoulder, constantly being scared that people are out to get you. I also haven't stayed in my house for more than 2 days at a go since this thing started. Just jumping from relative to relative, friend to friend. I stayed with my partner also for some time. So it's crazy. As I was telling my story right now, I could feel like a panic attack was coming on, because as I recount those events in my head, I feel like I'm back there. I feel like I'm going through that again. So,
Billy, on your end, how is it for you?
It's not simple, because you walk around, everybody knows you. From the news that you are missing, everybody wants to hear your side of the story. But at the same time, you are scared because, first of all, I didn't see those guys. I didn't see any of their faces. So in a way, I can't trust anyone. I'm a bit skeptic. And now my life isn't normal because my phone has to be constantly on flight mode, because I'm getting a lot of calls, relatives, they want to know how I am. So I always reach out to my mom so that she can at least tell them that I'm okay. But at the moment, I'm moving around constantly from house to house because I don't want to be found in my house again alone.
So much. As from the end, from the Law Society of Kenya, perhaps are you looking at ways in which you can be able to get justice for people like Nadia and Billy?
Well, I'd have to say that I wouldn't want to claim to speak for the Law Society of Kenya, but I would have to admit that it is important that those who are capable and are in positions to intervene do intervene. And of course, I appreciate my relationship with the Law Society, and being a victim myself, I think it is in order that the Law Society takes an active position in representing these people and, finding redress, because as they've shared, the experiences were not easy. There are issues of there must be reparations. That is what we must agree as a people, we must agree as a society. There must be reparations, there must be consequences. So we would have to say all the things that we have experienced should not go in vain. For instance, the day I was taken is the day I knew hot water tastes good. I ordinarily do not take hot water, but it was the only thing on offer. Yeah, it was the day I was reminded of how it feels kupigwa kofi ya kisogo. I have not been hit on the backside of my head since I was 9 years old, and that's quite some time back. But those reminders came in, and it was a harrowing experience. But we have capacity. We have numbers, we have capability, we have courts that are not just prepared, but are required to make sure that justice is served. And I do believe that all the partners who have taken part in putting this together, the Citizen Assembly, will work as well to ensure that the necessary reparations are found for all the victims and all the families of those who lost their lives.
Thank you so much, Ernest. I don't know if the people here have any questions to our panelists. If we could have perhaps the mic going round. If you have any question, just raise up your hand so that we can have an interactive engagement for our panelists here. Yeah, floor manager, there is a question there from the gentleman, and then you can have the lady to my left, the gentleman to my right, the first. Thank you so much. You please state your name and your question and to whom is it directed to.
I don't have a question, I just would like to do something. Can I ask the three of you to stand up and turn around and face that side? I am used to giving instructions. I was in a school in a minute. Please stand up. Come as close to the edge without falling. Okay. Just look, don't look back. Just be present. The rest of you stand up. I want you to imagine you are back there and all these people have your back. But you could not see them, but they were all calling for your release. But none of them forgot you for that moment. And in that sense, be present to the fact that when we take a stand as human rights activists, we are never alone. There are 56 million people who are slowly beginning to find capacity to protect you. I'm not sure if this is a question, but we have your back.
Thank you so much. We have another question from the second row to my left on this other side. The lady in green, I presume. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. My name is Diana Gishengo, and just like Irungo, I have no question. And mine is to say thank you. Thank you very much for your sacrifice, for what you have done for this country. We really thank you. Nadia, erase from your mind, you did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong in all the posts you did and what you did on the street. We celebrate you, we honor you. I think in addition to having their back, can we all pledge that the torture they went through, in addition to the people who have lost their lives, the firing of cabinet is not enough, is it? for patriots to have sat in a toilet because they demanded good governance. Parliament must go. For all the wrong investments in military guns, silencers, we need a new budget. Not the one that he's referring to. We need a new budget. And finally, if the president could not apologize for this, he said they were fake. Look at these people. They are here, we can see them. Does he deserve to be our president? No. Ruto must? Thank you.
Thank you for those opinions. Any other round of questions?
Atit Muiroki, just confirm you're able to hear me. Count 1 to 10.
People power. People power. Thank you very much. My name is Brian Okeja. Actually, we really don't even need to ask questions. We need to speak
Atit Muiroki, just confirm you're able to hear us.
In this country,
Atit Muiroki, underscore 7. Just confirm you're able to hear us.
Bunch of bones and muscles.
If you can, just count 1 to 10.
We are dealing with a government that has a massive disdain for rule of law. I can tell you there are just a few of us, but so many people suffered. Myself, I was hit by a canister. I lost balance. I almost broke my knee. I was clobbered on the back by a ring. I was washed with that pink water. Iliniwasha di makende. What they have done, that they have arrested our people, they have tortured us, they have killed us. But what they don't know is this, that when we made the decision to come out of our houses, we knew that the fight for democracy is very expensive. And we are ready to pay the ultimate price. We are ready to renew that we will either come back home safe or not come back at all. But that will not deter us from anything. We will continue. They can kill us, but they cannot kill this movement. They can torture us, but they cannot kill this liberation. They can kill us. The worst thing that they can ever do to us is to kill this bunch of balls and muscles. This is a body, but they can never touch our soul. We will die and we will reincarnate. We will come back and be born in this same country. We are not going to accept any nonsense. And what we are saying is this, that as the youth of this nation, as the GenZs, our allegiance, our obeisance, our loyalty and fidelity is to the flag of this nation, is the flag of Kenya, and to no one else and to nothing else. People power. Say with me, I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. Before we continue, I'd like to invite Rocha Madza, who is the student president, to just give his comments. The mic is there, please, if you could. The mic is there, please. Thank you.
Comrades Power, Comrades Power, Comrades Stephen, Comrades Leah. I'd first like to take this chance to thank the organizers for this event. Very honored. And if I may recount what we underwent when we were going for the demonstrations, we were rallying ourselves through the main campus where we were able to organize ourselves and get some masks and water. And what we are mainly agitating for as students, apart from the finance bill, is mainly the new funding model, which has been really affecting us. And even as the president has dissolved his cabinet, we are still saying there is more to be done. Comrades, because as we are sitting right now, we can't afford school fees as students, and not according to the president to do. He dissolves and he abolishes the new funding model, which is really affecting the needy, because if education is an equalizer, then why then should we segregate and why then should we group students based on how financially they are? Because as you're speaking, the first years in nursing school who are paying 612,000 shillings, half of them have deferred from their class because they're expected to pay 30% of that, which is about 200,000 shillings. So where I come from Kwale, that is in Zombo. My parents, maybe they sell mangoes to earn a living, so they really can't afford these school fees, and we are killing their dreams. So as we are here, let us also agitate for that in the X and other avenues, that we still need change, and this is the right time, and I'd urge all of us, let's not kill the movement, because the country is still in shambles, and we can't say we have won yet. Much has to be done, and manage to urge all the comrades that we will do this until we get to where we are. Because this is our nation, and we must fight for our justice. And for all those who are affected, we have been praying for you, and I'm sure everything will be well. And for all those few remarks, let me thank you for organizing the event. Have a lovely day. Safari ni ya Ikulu, na we reject the new funding model. Comrades power. Comrades power. We want free education because it's a basic need for all of us. Yes, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Rocha, for those comments. Please reserve your comments and your questions. Of course, the engagement and discussions are still ongoing. At this point, I'd like to begin with Nadia. What are your closing remarks? And perhaps the leaders that are watching you today, what is your message to them?
We owe it to ourselves and to our fallen comrades to see this thing through to the end. This movement is not about one person, it is not about two people, it is about all of us collectively. We need systems that work. We need a country that works for all of us, not just a select few. So, yeah, they can maim us, they can injure us, they can murder us, but they cannot stop this movement.
Billy, on your end, your closing remarks. To those that are watching, what are you telling them, especially the policymakers, those that are in charge?
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank everyone for all the noises that you made while you were abducted. So, and all I can say is that together we are powerful. The noises that we are making behind our keyboards, behind our phones, they are very powerful, and we are seeing the effects, like they are working. So all I can tell all the comrades, don't give up. This thing is working. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Ernest, from your end, your closing remarks and the calls continues, and perhaps what is the way forward from your end?
I think there is a defiance that comes with knowing that you are doing what is right and knowing that you are fighting and standing for something. Standing at that door after it opened, seeing 8 men armed with military-grade weapons, the fear went out of me because I knew I had done nothing wrong and I knew there was nothing I could do. I was helpless, but I was sure that if that was the end, it was for doing nothing wrong. We, the people of Kenya, will continue to do what is right. We will continue to fight for what we deserve, and we will continue to use our brains because our ingenuity is what sets us apart from those who have fought before us. We will not just come at you in the streets. We will use our brains. We will fight you in courts. We will use technology. We will stop you from making this country move in the right direction by whatever means available to us. We are the smartest, we are the strongest, we are the best this country has to offer. Na tutashuka na watu.
Thank you so much, Ernest, for those remarks. Please, let's give them a round of applause. It's not easy, and we wish you well, even as you get the psychological help that you need to get yourself through the next phases of your life. At this point, I'd like to call Giuliani as we take a very short breather, and then we will continue the conversation. So keep your questions there. We will get to them. So at this point, we are going to just take a breather and then invite Giuliani on the stage. Thank you so much.
children rest in peace. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Waiting for Mandela. My people. To have Juliani on stage. Karibu sana Juliani. Let's be upstanding, please.
Niaje. Ngupoa. Niaje. Mbona mmesimama ama mko maandamano? So allow me to do this, for everybody that we've lost. Nataka msisikie sauti, msikie maneno sawa? Sawa? Sawa, sema atuko nawe. Tuko nawe. La la salama. Sema atuko nawe. Ni tukiwe. La salama. Atuko nawe. Ni tukiwe. Tapatana machozi ya jana. Inauma hii side ya left ya chest. Naomba boxes zingine za handkerchief. Machozi ligeuza matope penye rest. Hii si WhatsApp group, unaweza rudi ukileft. Walibakata mabawa, usifly again. Clouds ni grey, nguo ni white, nguo ni black, macho ni red, colors are pale. It takes a long day kujua life ni short. Life in a remote. Unaweza fast forward ama rewind to a happier episode. Machozi ya jana haigandi, tunapanguza na furaha ya justice. Hatuko nawe. They took you away. La salama. Hatuko nawe. They took you away. Tapatana machozi ya jana. Nilijaribu kujiconvince huko juu. Mapenzi ya Mungu, ukweli ni roza statue ndani ya watu. Sababu seriousness ya poisonous snake, tusipuuze ka cuteness ya pet. Kwa mkono mngekimbilia ndio muliangamia, amkunuia mlo waliwandalia. sauti ya glass ya champagne ikigonga cheers, impunity ikicelebrate, itatizo na sauti ya nyundo kwa court wakiface judgment. Iwe funzo kwa wenye tabia kama hiyo, mwizi wa uhai hukumu isiwe kuchunwa sikio. Hatukunewe, the took you away, la salama. Hatukunewe, the took you away, Ewe Mungu wajua njia zangu yatengeze, yale siwezi yasongeze, wewe ndiye nguvu ya wanyonge. Ewe Mungu wajua njia zangu yatengeze, yale siwezi yasongeze, wewe ndiye nguvu ya wanyonge. Hatuko nawe, they took you away. La salama. Hatuko nawe, they took you away. Tapatana machozi ya jana. Mungu abariki, asante man. Nisere kumbai sawa.
Shagala bagala. Niko tayari kulipa gharama, sitasimama maovu yakitawala, sitasimama maovu yakitawala. Ufisadi, ubinafsi, ukabila, kuuza sura wataki kuuza sera, undugu. Sitasimama maovu yakitawala, sitasimama maovu yakitawala.
Share nyungu ya busa, keto la shisha, mfuko unatia eko, unajua thamani ya